Amazing secret revealed. How a millionaire's life changed forever after renting to a single Jonah Carter stood on the balcony of his high-rise office, surveying his empire with pride. Dressed in a $5,000 suit, slicked back hair glistening under the fluorescent lights, he reveled in his power. The man was a titan in his world, a millionaire surrounded by the shiny trappings of success. Behind him, the walls of his corporate office shimmered with success glass and steel, crossing out the ordinary. Below, in the picturesque suburban neighborhood of Ohio, life pulsed differently. Families toiled in their gardens, shared laughter at the community park, lives filled with struggles Jonah had long abandoned. To him, they were merely characters in a story he had outgrown. Then came the downturn. The market spun out of control, leaving Jonah staring at his pricey investments. He needed a tenant for one of his units. His perfect insights failed him. Enter Olivia. She walked into his life like a gust of fresh air, carrying her daughter Mia on her hip and determination in her eyes. Jonah was blindsided. Olivia was a single mother, exhausted yet resilient, juggling 2 jobs and taking community college classes. She looked beaten, yet a fiery spirit radiated from her. Her laughter seemed out of place for Jonah, who couldn't fathom why someone like her dared to dream. He distanced himself, casting judgments wrapped in privilege. Hadn't she made some poor choices? But step by step he watched her. Olivia hustled, organizing community events, knitting the fabric of life together with her neighbors. The stark contrast between her struggle and his wealth made him uneasy. Jonah found himself lingering at a local charity event she managed. There, she glowed with a charisma that swept through the crowd. Was it hope in her green eyes? Did that flicker of determination spark something within him? He couldn't shake the admiration that was brewing like an uninvited guest at his heart. Yet uncertainty clung to him, shadows of his biases blocking the light he was beginning to see. Just as the blush of curiosity bloomed, disaster struck. Olivia's mother fell ill, crippling her resolve. The air in the room thickened as he watched her heartbreak steamroll her well-laid plans. The pressure. It clung to the walls of her world, breathing heaviness into her every move. Jonah, torn by a tug at his heartstrings, couldn't look away. Here was a moment that challenged everything he had built. The walls of wealth he fortified against vulnerability. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Opportunity wrapped in fear beckoned him. Could he truly shatter the gilded cage he demolded around himself? Would he reach out to Olivia, stepping into a world where heartbeats mattered more than bank accounts? The universe had tossed him a challenge. Jonah found himself suspended between old judgments and a new vision, standing on the edge of something transformative. Would he finally embrace the connections that offered the richest rewards? His heart raced with the complexity of the moment, the tension building, drawing him toward a profound decision that could alter lives, especially his own. Jonah stepped away from the edge of his corporate life, the glossy walls reflecting back at him like mirrors of his past choices. The air around him felt thick with urgency, as if the universe conspired to push him toward a reckoning. Each glance at the bustling streets below sent a pulse through him, beckoning him to leap into the unknown. He grabbed his jacket and headed down an elevator, each ding resonating like a countdown to a decision. As the doors slid open, Jonah felt a charge of energy, pulling him toward Olivia. He hadn't even acknowledged it fully before. He was intrigued, no, captivated by her strength, her laughter that danced even through adversity. But now, faced with the weight of her struggles, it felt different. More urgent. The drive to her neighborhood was a blur, traffic lights cascading past him like opportunities wasted. Jonah's hands clenched the steering wheel, recalling her tear-streaked face and the resolve that flickered like a candle in a storm. He needed to do something. Hadn't he always believed he could fix things? Why was this different? When he arrived, the moon illuminated the simple homes like patches of warmth in the night. He spotted Olivia's house, a modest figure against the sky, but it felt like a fortress filled with untold stories. She was in there, grappling with fears that pressed down on her spirit. Taking a deep breath, he approached the front door. His heart raced as he knocked, the sound echoing through him. Would she accept him? Would she see him not just as the landlord but as someone who saw her, truly saw her? Olivia opened the door, the surprise washing over her features. She stood there wrapped in a cardigan, hair pulled back, looking as if she'd fought a battle but was still standing. Jonah? Her voice softened, disbelief mingling with curiosity. He fumbled his words. I just needed to check in on you. The sincerity of his intent surprised even him. I heard about your mom, he continued, the words tumbling with an honesty he struggled to own. She looked down, the weight of her current reality evident even in slight shifts in her posture. It's been tough, she admitted, a tremor underlying her calm facade. Jonah didn't know what to say. He wasn't here to fix her problems, yet a deep-seated desire to lift some of her burden welled up inside him. Can I help? The words tasted foreign, yet they felt right. For a moment, she peered into his eyes, searching for sincerity. Help how? I want to support you, he said, feeling the cracks in his character beginning to show. You're not alone in this. Silence enveloped them, thick and cloying as it demanded trust. Jonah held his breath, but then he noticed her expression shift, carefully navigating her cautious heart. Maybe she began slowly, uncertainty inkling her words. But I don't want charity. It's not charity. Just partnership. A way for both of us to get through. Her eyes softened as a flicker of hope ignited between them. Why would you want to? He stepped forward, vulnerability pinching at him. Because I see you, Olivia. I see the fight in you. It's inspiring. The sincerity in his voice resonated, creating a delicate bridge built on the fractured remains of their worlds. Jonah could feel a rush of emotion threading between them, guiding him toward something he could have never anticipated, a connection grounded in reality, compassion, and vision. But as he spoke, a part of him hesitated, an internal voice whispering fears of instability, the risk of becoming too entangled. Would he lose himself in this new narrative? Let us figure it out together, he insisted, leaning into the moment. Olivia took a deep breath and only nodded, yet the lingered weight of hesitation hung in the air, heavy with possibilities. What lay ahead? Jonah couldn't shake the feeling that this was the beginning of something transformative, not just for Olivia, but for himself too. As they stood there, two lives intersecting, Jonah couldn't help but wonder, what will the cost of this new alliance truly be? Jonah stepped into Olivia's home, the warmth enveloping him like a cozy blanket. The walls were adorned with pictures, tiny snapshots of a life filled with love and struggles. He felt a rush of intimacy, walking into someone's world. Yet it was also daunting. Why are you really here? Olivia asked, her cautious gaze piercing his shield of confidence. You've never checked up on me before. He appreciated her directness. Maybe because I never realized how deeply you were battling, he admitted. I saw you trying to handle it all alone, and it hit me hard. I guess I wanted to help. She crossed her arms, her stance protective. Help isn't just throwing money or a shoulder at me, Jonah. It's complicated. He nodded, understanding her hesitation. I'm not here to throw resources around. I want to understand, to be part of this with you. Part of what, Jonah? Her eyes narrowed, no longer soft but challenging. Part of my struggles, my grief? You don't know what that's like. You're right, he said, feeling the truth of her words echo in his chest. But I want to learn. I want to be here while you're navigating through all of it. There was a flicker of something in Olivia's eyes, curiosity mixing with skepticism. And why would a guy like you want to waste his time on me? Maybe because I spent too long avoiding what matters. He took a deep breath, words flowing with raw honesty. You matter to me more than I calculated. And I know that's strange. But I'm really willing to find out what this is, whatever it is between us. Her lips twitched, a hint of a smile curling as if she was fighting back a laugh. This isn't some romantic fairy tale, Jonah. I know, he said, feeling the awkwardness hanging between them. But does it have to be so black and white? Can't we just explore what's possible? What's possible means getting real, she replied, her tone shifting, laced with vulnerability. It means facing grief, sacrifice, and uncertainty. I want to sugarcoat things. It's dark. It's heavy. Jonah felt the weight of her words press against him. I can take it, I promise, he said. But I need you to be open too. Can we start at square one? She paused, evaluating him with a searching glance, as if trying to decipher his sincerity. Finally, she let out a small breath. Okay, but I can't promise it will be easy. Nothing worthwhile ever is, he replied, the corners of his mouth lifting slightly. She led him to the small kitchen table, cluttered with bills and remnants of a takeout meal. This is my life. Messy, chaotic, and real. Jonah glanced around, noticing how the chaos glimmered with warmth. It was filled with memories, some painful, but others glimmered with hope. He sat down, ready to dive in. How can I help you with all this? I need to figure out how to juggle my job, my mom's care, and supporting my son, she admitted, her voice softening. I'm terrified of failing. Then let us make a plan, Jonah encouraged, excitement bubbling up inside him. I mean, what if we divided tasks? You can focus on your work and I can take a few of the small burdens off your shoulders. Like what? She challenged, brightening slightly at the thought. What if I took care of some of the landlord chores for a while? It would give you more time for everything. For a fleeting moment, a lightness flickered within her, a spark ignited by the thought of possibility. You would really do that? Of course, he said, genuinely. Let's put it all on the table, work it out together. I want to be part of this. But as they began to discuss details, a nagging voice in the back of Jonah's mind urged caution. Was he stepping into something bigger than he realized? In that moment, Olivia's phone rang, shattering the tentative peace they were building. The expression on her face turned grave as she glanced at the screen. It's my mom, she said sharply, anxiety cutting through her words. I need to take this. As she stepped away, Jonah couldn't shake the heavy feeling forming in the pit of his stomach. What would this call reveal? When Olivia returned, he could see her demeanor had shifted again. Jonah, she said softly, we need to talk about my mom's situation and how that changes everything. His heart sank. What was coming next? Jonah leaned forward, his mind racing. Olivia's expression had transformed, the weight of something monumental sat heavily on her shoulders. He felt the air thicken with urgency, leaving him in suspense. What's going on, Olivia? He asked, keeping his focus on her eyes, searching for clarity amidst her turmoil. She sighed, a tremor in her voice. My mom's health is worse than we thought, she said, her breath hitching. We've been managing, but it's getting tougher. The doctor said she might need more intensive care soon, and that means more expenses, he finished for her, the reality smacking him like a cold bucket of water. More burdens. Exactly, she whispered, the vulnerability in her voice cutting through him. I don't know how to handle this. I never planned for it. Jonah felt a swell of compassion. What if I helped with that too? He suggested without hesitation. We can look into programs or even figure out a schedule for when you need to help her. Her eyes widened slightly, a mixture of disbelief and hope. Do you even know what you're saying? You have your life, Jonah. I can't just keep taking and taking from you. He shook his head. It doesn't feel like taking if I want to give it. The silence stretched between them, thick with tension. Jonah could almost see thoughts colliding in her mind, fear wrestling with hope. Her walls were built for a reason. She had learned to fight battles on her own, but now they were standing on the verge of something unspoken, a tentative alliance being formed. You don't know how complicated my mom's situation really is, Olivia finally said, her voice low and cracking. It's not just about the money. It's about time, care, emotional toll. It eats away at me. I get it. But hiding it all won't change what you're facing, Jonah countered gently. I don't mind hearing the hard truths. I just want to share that weight with you. His words hung in the air, fragile yet filled with promise. He watched as the softening in her stance grew, cracks in her armor revealing glimmers of trust. Maybe they could forge something together in this mess. Facing her, Jonah added, You've already taught me so much. You're brave, Olivia. I admire your strength more than you realize. Her shy glance met his, and for a moment, the chaos of life outside their conversation faded away. But as quickly as that moment came, it dissipated, replaced by the uncertainty of the next step. I don't want to be a burden, she admitted, her voice a whisper, finally breaking the tension that had held her captive. You aren't, he insisted, tearing down walls that had long stood. You're human. And having support doesn't make you weak, it makes you stronger. Tears welled in her eyes, bright against the backdrop of worry etched across her face. Jonah felt the urge to reach for her, to comfort her in some tangible way. But he hesitated. It was too soon. Too much weight rested on their fragile connection. "I need time," she finally said, her breathing steadying, though the emotion lingered in her voice. "I've never let anyone in like this." "I understand," Jonah replied softly. "Take all the time you need. I'm right here." She nodded, and in that moment the air shifted. It felt lighter yet still heavy. A quiet understanding hovered between them, suspending whatever else would come next. Just then her phone buzzed again, startling them both. Olivia glanced at the screen and frowned. "It's my sister. She never calls unless it's urgent." "Should you answer?" Jonah suggested, his heart racing, not knowing if it was the best choice for their budding alliance. Olivia hesitated, biting her lip. After a moment, she glanced at Jonah with uncertainty. "Do you think I should? Maybe this will shed more light on your mom's situation. Could help you decide." With a deep breath, she hit the answer button. And as she put the phone to her ear, Jonah leaned in, feeling the weight of whatever news was about to unfold. And through it all, he couldn't shake the nagging feeling that this call could change everything. What would it reveal? "Hello?" Olivia's voice trembled slightly as she spoke into the phone, her expression morphing from anxiety to apprehension. Jonah watched her intently, the tension in the air almost suffocating. "Olivia. Thank God you're there," her sister's frantic voice came through the line. "You need to come home right away. It's about Mom." "What do you mean? What has happened?" Olivia pressed, her hands gripping the phone as if it could give her some sort of strength. Jonah leaned closer, the urgency of her sister's tone sending chills down his spine. "It's bad, Liv. Mom collapsed this morning. They're saying she might need surgery." I didn't know who else to call. The world around them narrowed for Jonah, his heart pounding in rhythm with the chaos in Olivia's mind. He saw her face pale, the color draining as she processed the news. Jonah felt a surge of emotions: fear for Olivia, anger at the situation, and a deep sorrow for what her family was going through. "What do we do?" Olivia's voice shook, a whisper of vulnerability that hung between them. I can't handle this." Not without her words faltered as the reality of her situation crashed over her. "Don't you dare say it," her sister interrupted, a note of exasperation mixing with love. "You don't have to go through this alone. Just come home." "But the hospital, what should I tell them?" Olivia's breaths came in quick succession, panic rising in her chest. "I can't just leave everything behind. Forget about everything else. We'll figure that out later. Your mom needs you right now." Jonah reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers, grounding her in that moment. He could feel her tremble, but also the small spark of determination that was beginning to flare within her. Listening to her sister, he noticed how Olivia nodded, absorbing each word like a life raft in a turbulent sea. "You're right," she whispered, a resolve edging into her voice. "I need to be there. I can't be selfish." "Not selfish, brave," Jonah murmured, squeezing her hand tighter. "You have to go. I'll be right here waiting. Just go see your mom." Her eyes met his, a storm of feelings swirling within. She hesitated for a heartbeat, uncertainty lingering. Then she strengthened her grip on his hand, as if saying goodbye to a part of herself. "Okay, I'm coming," Olivia finally said, her voice firm though laced with emotion. "I'll call you later. I need to be there." Jonah nodded, his heart aching at the thought of her leaving. "You got this, Olivia. You'll get through." With one last glance, filled with a mixture of gratitude and fear, Olivia turned to leave. Jonah watched her disappear down the hallway, her figure growing smaller, the weight of the world resting on her shoulders. As he stood there, Jonah felt a resolve solidify within him. He wasn't going to let her face this alone. He would find a way to support her, even if it meant stepping into the unknown. His phone buzzed, snapping him back to reality. A message from an unknown number popped up. Curiosity piqued, he opened it. The screen chilled him. A single line flickered like a warning. "You need to know the truth about Olivia's mom." Jonah's heart raced. What truth? And what could it mean for Olivia? He felt an ominous weight settle in his gut, bracing himself for the storm that was about to unfold. What did he just stumble onto? Jonah's fingers shook slightly as he read the mysterious message over and over. You need to know the truth about Olivia's mom. What could it mean? He could hardly focus on anything else. Olivia's mom needed her, and here he was distracted by an unknown threat. He paced the small room, each step quickening his pulse. Should he reply? Or was it better to ignore it for now? But deep in his gut, he knew he couldn't just let it go. Olivia was already walking into a storm of emotions, and he didn't want to add more weight to her burden. Keeping the phone clutched tightly in his hand, Jonah moved to the kitchen, attempting to distract himself by making coffee. The familiar routine eased him. The aroma of brewing coffee wrapped around him like a warm hug. It was a momentary balm, but he knew soon enough he would be battling thoughts that refused to leave him. What if the truth was something that could hurt Olivia? Reaching for the coffee pot, he froze as the phone buzzed again. It was a call from an unknown number. There was no way he could ignore it now. Holding his breath, he answered. Hello? The voice on the other end sounded slightly distorted, as if they were trying to mask their identity. Jonah? It was a woman's voice, firm yet layered with urgency. You don't know me and I don't have much time. You need to listen carefully. Who is this? Jonah's heart raced, pulse quickening. Just listen. She insisted, the edge in her voice sharp enough to cut through his hesitation. Whatever you think you know about Olivia's mom, it's not the whole story. There's something she's kept hidden. Something important. What are you talking about? He shot back, his anxiety morphing into a fierce protectiveness. What do you mean? Is she in danger? A brief pause hung in the air, heavy with implications. Not just her. The whole family may be at risk. But you need to get Olivia away from the hospital now. Why? What is happening? Jonah demanded, frustration boiling to the surface. They're not telling her everything. There are people involved who the call abruptly cut off, leaving him with a deafening silence. Jonah stared at the phone, pulse thrumming in his ears. Who were these people? What could threaten Olivia's family? The stakes suddenly felt perilously high, and his role was changing from observer to active defender. Grabbing his jacket, he raced out the door. The winding road to the hospital felt like a maze, twisting around his growing fear. He couldn't let Olivia face whatever was coming without him by her side. She was strong, but together they'd be stronger. As he neared the hospital, images flooded into his mind. Olivia's worried expression, the fragility in her voice when she spoke about her mom. She deserved clarity, support, everything he could offer. He wouldn't allow her to be blindsided. His breath hitched as he pulled up to the hospital, sprinting through the automatic doors. The harsh fluorescent lights stung his eyes, amplifying the urgency inside him. He needed to find Olivia fast. As he turned the corner, he spotted her in the waiting area. She was huddled over, her body tense, staring at her phone. Jonah's heart twisted. How on earth was he going to bring comfort amidst this brewing chaos? And now, with the hints of a darker truth lingering, he couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. Could he unravel the mystery before it tore them apart? Jonah's feet felt like lead as he approached Olivia. She looked so small, lost in the bright waiting area, and he could see the flicker of anxiety on her face. Every step he took weighed heavily, the urgency of the moment pushing against him like an unseen force. Olivia! He called out, relief washing over him as she glanced up. Her eyes met his, a mix of worry and a hint of hope. He reached her just as she blinked away tears that threatened to fall. Jonah, she breathed, the tension in her shoulders easing, if only for a moment. I was starting to panic. I thought you weren't coming. Of course I'm here, he said, trying to keep his voice steady, though inside it felt like a storm was brewing. We need to talk. She frowned, confusion replacing her momentary relief. What do you mean? Is it about my mom? Are they saying anything? We should sit, Jonah said, gesturing to the empty chairs nearby. He didn't want to overwhelm her, but there was no easy way to talk about what was looming. As they sat, he took a breath, steadying himself. I got a call, he said slowly, watching her face for any signs of reaction. Someone warned me that there are things about your mom that you don't know. What do you mean? Her voice quivered. Is she in trouble? Jonah, please, there's something being kept from you. I don't know all the details, but whoever called said it could put you and your family at risk. The words hung heavy between them, a palpable weight that pressed against the fragile comfort of the waiting room. Olivia drew in a sharp breath, her eyes widening. What? But they couldn't, Olivia. Listen, Jonah reached across the space between them, grabbing her hand. He squeezed it gently, trying to transfer strength into her. I think we need to leave to figure this out away from here. This place, it feels wrong right now. For a moment she seemed to waver, the reality of his words sinking in. Then just as quickly the resolve set in her posture. No, I can't just leave my mom. She needs me. I know she does. But we have to make sure you're safe too. If there are people involved, he hesitated, not wanting to scare her more, but realizing he needed to be honest. If there are people involved who might cause harm, staying here might put you at risk. Her brows knitted together in thought. But what if she's in danger? What if I leave and something happens to her? Jonah held her gaze, heart racing. I'll help you figure it out. We'll find out what's really going on and make a plan. Together. She took a breath, weighing her options, uncertainty swirling in her eyes. Finally she nodded, albeit reluctantly. Okay, but we need to find out what's happening first. I can't just walk away. No, we want to, he reassured. Let us ask the doctors more questions. They have to know something. Just then, a sudden commotion erupted at the far end of the waiting area. A group of hospital staff hurried past, their expressions tense. Jonah and Olivia exchanged a worried glance. What's going on? Olivia whispered, gripping Jonah's hand tighter. He quickly scanned the area, then turned back to her. We need to find out now. The air felt charged as they stood, ready to face whatever storm was brewing. Just as they began to move, a figure in a white coat turned the corner, looking directly at them. Jonah's gut twisted. This could be the answer. Or it could deepen the uncertainty. Come on, he urged. But just as he took a step, something in that figure's gaze made his heart drop. He felt it, an unsettling sense that the truth was lurking just out of reach, waiting for the right moment to strike. Would they be ready when it did? What are they hiding from us? Olivia's voice trembled at his side, igniting Jonah's resolve even more. He took another deep breath, steadied himself, and took the lead. This time he wouldn't fail her. But deep inside, he couldn't shake the feeling that what they were about to discover would change everything. How far would the truth go to protect the ones they loved? As Jonah moved closer to the figure in the white coat, his heart raced. The doctor appeared calm but had an air of urgency around him. Olivia stood by his side, uncertainty etched across her face. Jonah felt a magnetism drawing them toward the unknown, and he sensed Olivia's fear amplifying with every step. Excuse me, do you have news about my mother? Olivia called out, her voice shaking slightly but firm. They could no longer avoid the confrontation they so desperately needed. The doctor paused, his expression shifting. I'm not at liberty to discuss details in public. Can we talk in private? Jonah exchanged a quick glance with Olivia. They needed to hear what this man had to say, but a gnawing sense of apprehension tightened Jonah's gut. Whatever you have to say, you can say it here, Jonah insisted, his tone reflecting the protective instinct swelling inside him. The doctor hesitated, glancing around the bustling waiting room. All right, but please understand that this isn't easy. Just tell us. Olivia pleaded, her eyes widening, desperation creeping into her voice. Her grip tightened around Jonah's hand, and he felt a surge of determination from her. I'm Dr. Reddy, the man began, his voice softening as if he was trying to reassure them. I've been overseeing your mother's care. I'm afraid the situation is more serious than we initially thought. There are complications. What kind of complications? Jonah cut in, unable to hide his anxiety. Time felt like it was slipping away and he had to know. Your mother has been diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disorder. It's critical that she begins treatment immediately. But Dr. Reddy hesitated again, his eyes darting away, as if searching for the right words. But we believe someone may be obstructing her treatment. Obstructing? Olivia echoed, her voice barely above a whisper. Jonah felt her body tense beside him. The hospital has received anonymous threats, suggesting there are outside interests wanting her condition kept quiet, Dr. Reddy explained, his gaze serious. We suspect foul play. Someone is trying to keep your mother from getting the care she needs. No. Olivia pulled her hand away, feeling as if the floor had been ripped from beneath her. Cold dread spread through Jonah's chest as he watched her reaction. "What do we do?" she whispered, tears pooling in her eyes. In that moment all her fears materialized, hovering dangerously close to reality. "We have to get her out of here," Jonah said, feeling an overwhelming impulse to fight for Olivia and her mother. "We can't let anyone keep her from help." I can't do this alone," she stammered, longing for support. Tears rolled down her cheeks. He could see the weight of everything pressing down on her. "You're not alone," Jonah promised, wishing he could shield her from the hurt. "We'll find a way to protect her. Together." Dr. Reddy shook his head slowly, a shadow of concern clouding his features. "You need to be careful. If someone wants to block her treatment, they may have ulterior motives regarding you too." "Why us?" Jonah fired back. "What could we possibly mean to them?" The doctor took a step closer, his voice dropping as if sharing a dangerous secret. "That's what I'm trying to uncover. I can only give you limited access, but if you stay close to me, I might be able to help you get through this without drawing attention." Jonah looked over at Olivia, who was now sobbing silently but appeared resolute. The pieces were falling into place, the urgency escalating by the second. They needed a plan, a way to maximize their chances of success. "What's our next move?" Jonah asked, drawing her back to the present moment. "Trust no one," Dr. Reddy urged, glancing around the waiting room as if sensing unseen eyes upon them. "Stay under the radar and move quickly." As they turned to exit, Olivia's expression hardened. "I will do whatever it takes to save my mother. I won't let anyone come between us." Jonah nodded, fueled by her determination. "We'll fight this together." But as they stepped through the hospital doors, a chill ran down Jonah's spine. Something behind them felt amiss, as if the shadows were tracking their every move. Just as they reached the parking lot, Jonah paused, casting one last glance back at the hospital. "Do you feel that?" he asked. "What?" Olivia replied, her eyes searching his. "I think they're watching us," Jonah whispered, sensing an unseen threat trailing them. And just like that, the truth of their fight seemed to deepen, leaving them both on edge and desperate to uncover the dark secrets ready to strike. What awaited them next in their battle for her mother's life? Jonah and Olivia hurried to the car, the gravel crunching under their shoes like the ticking clock in Jonah's chest. Every moment felt fraught with danger, every second potentially leading to yet another obstacle in their fight. He fumbled with the keys, hands trembling as the reality of their situation settled in. "Do you really think someone's watching us?" Olivia asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as if that acknowledgement might summon the hidden threat. "I don't know," Jonah admitted, finally unlocking the door and helping her into the passenger seat before rushing to the driver's side. "But we need to act fast. We can't let them stop us." Once inside, he started the engine, the low rumble of the car providing a momentary comfort. As they pulled away, his eyes flicked to the hospital in the rearview mirror. Just beyond the glass, he swore he saw a figure standing rigid, watching with an intensity that raised goosebumps along his arms. "Where do we go?" Olivia asked, wiping away a tear that had escaped her composure. "Let's south head to my place," he said. "It's safer and I'll call my sister. She can help us figure out what to do next." Olivia nodded, but Jonah could see the worry clouding her features. He knew she was wrestling with more than just fear. She was grappling with the weight of her mother's life hanging in the balance. As they drove, the silence between them grew thick, punctuated only by the sound of the tires on the asphalt. "We're going to figure this out," Jonah said, trying to inject a bit of resolve into his voice. "We just need to stay strong and focused." Olivia looked at him, determination flickering behind her fear. "I can't lose her, Jonah. She has everything to me." He reached across the console, squeezing her hand. "We won't let that happen. We just need to keep moving forward." Upon reaching his apartment, the familiar surroundings brought a small sense of comfort. However, dread quickly settled back in when Jonah realized he had to call his sister. She worked in social services, a profession reliant on trust, yet Jonah felt an instinctual urge to protect Olivia from even her. "Do you think she'll believe us?" Olivia asked, biting her lip anxiously. "We'll tell her everything, but we need to be careful." "I don't want to put her in danger either," Jonah replied. The image of the figure watching them loomed large in his mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were being hunted. While Jonah made the call, Olivia paced the living room, wringing her hands. He could see the way her mind raced, filled with the same anxious anticipation he felt. His sister picked up quickly. "Jonah, is everything okay? You sound frantic." Not sure how to explain this, but Olivia's mom is in serious trouble, he began, pacing himself as he filled her in. It's not just her health. It's there's someone obstructing her treatment. He noticed Olivia freeze, her attention fully on him. He could see the words take root, fear etching deeper lines into her face. It was hard for him to gauge how much of the truth was safe to share. "You need to come over," she said, concern radiating from her voice. "We can help. But talk to no one else." "Yeah, we'll be there soon," Jonah said, ending the call. He turned back to Olivia. "We need to meet her in a public place." "No chances." "I get that," Olivia replied, her eyes searching his for assurance. "But where do we start? How can we even begin to fight an enemy we can't see?" The answer hovered in the air between them like an unanswered question. They were stepping into a world shrouded in uncertainty, and Jonah felt the weight of their fragile hope. Just then, a knock at the door sent both of their hearts racing. Jonah's pulse quickened. Who could that be? Fear erupted in Olivia's eyes. What if it's them? "Stay back," Jonah urged, inching toward the door slowly. The air was thick with tension, every second stretching into eternity. With a shaky hand, he reached for the knob, prepared for anything until he opened the door. The figure standing there, cloaked in shadows, made Jonah's heart drop. Was this friend, foe, or something more sinister? With his breath held tight, Jonah knew that whatever came next would test their resolve in ways they never imagined. As Jonah opened the door, his heart thundered in his chest, fear coiling around him like a vice. The figure silhouetted against the dim light of the hallway didn't move. An air of suspense laced with danger hanging thick in the air. "Who are you?" Jonah demanded, trying to project strength even as his pulse raced. He felt Olivia's presence behind him. A mix of anxiety and curiosity swirled in the silence as she peered past his shoulder. "Jonah Carter?" The figure finally spoke, voice low but firm. "I have information about Olivia's mom." "Who sent you?" Jonah shot back, suspicion flaring. He could feel Olivia's grip tighten on his arm, a quiet plea for him to be careful. "No time for questions," the figure hissed, glancing nervously down the hall. "We need to move. They're looking for you." Jonah exchanged a quick look with Olivia, uncertainty clouding her wide, frightened eyes. "Who's looking for us?" "Not here." "Come with me," the figure urged, stepping back to gesture them into the corridor. Jonah hesitated, instincts screaming at him to shut the door, to protect Olivia at all costs. But a gut feeling whispered that this was their chance to learn the truth and act before it slipped through their fingers. "Fine," Jonah said, his voice steady despite the dread pooling in his stomach. "But if you're lying, I'm not," the figure interrupted urgently. "I promise you I'm on your side." With palpable tension hanging heavily around them, Jonah made a quick decision. "Let us go." They stepped out into the dimly lit hallway, the figure leading them, glancing over their shoulders nervously. Each step felt fraught with the potential for discovery, a surge of adrenaline carrying them through the narrow spaces. Jonah cast a sidelong glance at Olivia. She looked pale but determined, resolve setting in her features as they followed the figure deeper into the unknown. "Where are we going?" Olivia asked, her voice hushed yet steady. "To a safe place," their guide replied without looking back, urgency pushing them forward. "Look, I know this is terrifying, but you need to trust me." Jonah nodded, though uncertainty gnawed at him. What if this was another trap? They turned a corner, entering an abandoned section of a building. The walls were chipped with vines sprouting through cracks, shadows dancing ominously in the corners. Jonah's senses heightened. "Here," the figure said, leading them into a dimly lit room. "We can talk here." Jonah hesitated before stepping inside, cautiously followed by Olivia. The door clicked shut behind them, enveloping them in a dense silence, a temporary barrier against the outside world. "Who are you?" Jonah demanded again, crossing his arms as he faced the figure. The uncertainty had morphed into a steady pulse of urgency and focus. They needed answers now. "Just call me Sam," the figure replied, shedding their hood and revealing a face that echoed fragments of familiarity. "I work in the hospital's administration, And I overheard some conversations about your mother about threats. Threats? Olivia echoed breathlessly, eyes flaring with concern. Is someone trying to hurt her? Not just her. You're both targets, Sam disclosed, locking eyes with Olivia. There are those who want to keep your mother's condition under wraps. It's bigger than any of us. What do you mean bigger? Jonah pressed, his heart pounding in his chest. Sam drew in a shaky breath. Your mother is embroiled in a conflict involving a shadowy group who profit from keeping people like her sick. People who stand to lose money if she gets treatment. Jonah felt sick as the gravity of the statement weighed upon him. Are you saying they would hurt her to prevent her from getting help? Yes, Sam confirmed. And if they think you're a threat to their plans, then they'll come after us. Olivia finished, panic creeping into her voice. Exactly, Sam replied, voice steady despite the chaos unfolding before them. But if we act quickly, we can outsmart them. There are ways to expose their operations, ways to protect your mother. What do we need to do? Jonah asked, resolved to protect Olivia and her mother at any cost. We need evidence, Sam replied with determination. And I can help you get it. But we'll need to move carefully. I can take you to the lower levels of the hospital where records are kept. There's something there we need to find. Without missing a beat, Jonah nodded, adrenaline propelling him forward. Let us do it. Olivia, though visibly shaken, straightened her shoulders, courage rising within her. I'll do whatever it takes. We can't let them win. As they formed a plan, Jonah felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. Though shadows clouded the path ahead, they were no longer paralyzed by fear. This time they were fighting back. Follow me, Sam said, leading them out of the room and through the winding halls of secrets. Jonah and Olivia clung to each other, hearts racing, ready for the battle that lay ahead. It was more than just a fight for Olivia's mother's life. It was a fight for truth, justice, and the light that could shatter the darkness they were now confronting together. As they moved closer to the truth, Jonah couldn't help but feel that they were stepping into a new chapter, one forged by resilience and unyielding spirit. Together, they would uncover the hidden dangers lurking in the shadows, and reclaim the hope that had felt so distant just moments ago. This was their moment to rise. There was no turning back now. Now, as they stood on the precipice of truth, Jonah's heart swelled with determination. They would emerge from this stronger than before, and nothing would stand in their way. But first, they had to survive the storm that was about to break. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.